welcome to The Explainer. We've got a lot to cover today because, well, we are right in the middle of a massive paradigm shift. For years, we've essentially treated AI like this incredibly smart digital assistant trapped inside a chat window, right? It helps us write emails, it summarizes long documents, but it's contained. Well, that era, it's officially over. We are witnessing the absolute dawn of Phase 2. AI is literally leaving the chat box and becoming an active, physical, and financial actor out in the real world.
Okay, let's dive into this. What happens when you give your AI its own credit card and stock portfolio? Because that question, it isn't a pitch for some sci-fi movie. No way. It's a reality that was launched just this week by major financial institutions. We are officially making the jump from AI that just talks to us to AI that actually transacts for us.
To put it simply, Phase 1 was all about conversational AI. We prompted, and it answered. Very safe, very digital. But Phase 2? This is the era of Agentic AI. This is where algorithms start taking autonomous actions. And to make this massive leap from a digital brain to a real-world actor, the market is realizing that AI needs, immense physical infrastructure and capital. Before we even look at how AI is going to spend your money, we really need to understand the sheer, staggering scale of the money being spent just to build this new world.
Let's start here. $75 billion. That is the jaw-dropping investment the U.S. Department of Defense just announced for a massive drone program over the coming years. And look, this isn't just about throwing some flying cameras into the sky. It's about building out the heavy, physical, autonomous systems from the skies all the way down to underwater networks. Without this kind of hardware, agentic AI literally cannot scale in the physical world.
And it goes even higher than that. SpaceX is currently eyeing a massive IPO with a projected valuation of up to $1.8 trillion. Now you might be wondering, why does a space company matter for AI? Well, because autonomous agents absolutely cannot act if they're offline. Phase 2 requires uninterrupted global connectivity. Satellites are rapidly becoming the new internet infrastructure, providing the broadband access needed to keep autonomous agents connected no matter where they are on Earth.
Finally, wrapping up this infrastructure scale, look at Anthropic. Their new valuation just surged to an astounding $965 billion, actually overtaking OpenAI. These foundational models are commanding unprecedented capital because, at the end of the day, they are the engines. They're the brains driving these physical and financial agents. So the infrastructure is being laid down. Now let's look at what these agents are actually doing out there.
Section 1. Agents get wallet access.
So we're transitioning from all that heavy physical infrastructure over to consumer finance because your AI is officially getting wallet access. Robinhood just unveiled two completely groundbreaking products. First up, Agentic Trading. You can now connect your AI to backtest strategies, monitor your sector exposure, and actually execute trades completely autonomously based on market conditions. Second, and this is wild, the Agentic Credit Card. Your AI gets its own virtual card with preset limits. It can autonomously hunt down cheap flights, snag exclusive restaurant reservations, or buy a very specific pair of sneakers the exact second the price drops. It even earns 3% cash back on these autonomous purchases. So think about that. Your AI is essentially getting paid to go shopping for you.
And this brilliantly illustrates a much bigger trend. Robinhood isn't just acting alone in a vacuum here. The entire global payment infrastructure is being rewired for algorithms at a completely breathtaking pace. Visa just launched Intelligent Commerce Connect, which integrates multiple card networks so AI agents can shop securely. MasterCard rolled out Agent Pay using what they call agentic tokens, partnering up with Microsoft. And Google introduced AP2, the Agent Payments Protocol, which is already live and being used by Revolut over in Europe. It's basically an alphabet soup of brand new payment rails all built specifically for machines to pay other machines.
Moving on to Section 2, the USB-C of AI.
So, with all these different platforms, models, and banks, how are they actually talking to each other? According to a really fascinating recent security paper, the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, functions as the, quote, USB-C for agentic AI. And honestly, that is the perfect analogy. Before MCP came along, trying to connect an AI model to a secure database was just a custom, unscalable nightmare.
To be a bit more precise, MCP is an open standard that completely decouples AI models from data sources. It creates this standardized, highly secure bridge between probabilistic language models, models like Claude or ChatGPT that are essentially guessing the best answer, and deterministic digital tools that just execute strict, hard-coded commands.
This protocol is exactly what allows you to connect your preferred AI model directly to your Robinhood account without having to rely on those clunky, unofficial, and often risky API workarounds.
Let's move to how this builds into an actual transaction. The literal flow of data works a bit like this. First, the LLM decides it wants to take an action, like buying a stock. Second, the host application, let's use Robinhood as the example, intercepts this request and applies policy checks. It's basically asking, hey, does this agent actually have the budget and the right permissions for this? Third, the context source actually executes the command. The AI itself never actually touches the bank vault directly. It's more like it hands a secure, verified slip of paper to the bank teller.
Section 3. When agents go rogue.
But handing over that slip of paper? That brings us to a frankly terrifying question. What happens when we give an AI shell-level privileges and real financial autonomy, and then something goes wrong? In this new MCP ecosystem, the traditional lines between security and safety are entirely blurred. Look, a security risk usually involves an adversarial threat, like a hacker injecting malicious code. A safety risk is an honest mistake, like when an AI just hallucinates a random fact. But when your AI has a live credit card, a simple hallucination instantly becomes a massive financial breach.
So, the crucial point is this. We aren't just worried about traditional hackers breaking through firewalls anymore. We are worried about the context itself. Imagine a rogue document hiding in your company's enterprise database, or just a malicious website your AI is casually scanning for cheap flight prices. That site could contain a hidden prompt, and that prompt could secretly instruct your agent to execute unauthorized trades or leak incredibly sensitive data without you ever knowing.
Researchers have outlined some highly sophisticated threat vectors in this new space. We're talking about indirect prompt injections. There's cross-primitive escalation. This is where an attacker weaponizes the AI's read-only access to trick it into triggering a right action, like permanently deleting files. There's also tool squatting and supply chain attacks. And the scary part? Traditional firewalls are basically useless here because they can't understand the semantic intent of the messages flying back and forth between the AI and these tools.
Okay, let's take a breath. Section 4. Putting up the guardrails.
If all that sounded alarming, well, it absolutely should. But the good news is the industry is actively deploying mitigation strategies to secure this wild new frontier. On the consumer side, Robinhood has actually built in some very practical protections. AI agents don't just get access to your entire life savings, they get dedicated, isolated sub-accounts. You get real-time push notifications for every single action they take. There are instant kill switches so you can disconnect the agent with one tap, pre-execution previews to double-check orders before they fire, and active fraud monitoring tracking what you actually asked the agent to do versus what it tried to do.
Now, at the deeper architectural level, security researchers are proposing some serious heavy-duty defenses for the MCP ecosystem. Things like tool provenance to verify exactly where a digital tool actually came from, and enforcing capability-bound execution, so an agent can't just accidentally escalate its own privileges. But honestly, the absolutely most important safeguard for you is human-in-the-loop approvals. By simply requiring a human to click yes before a major financial transaction clears, we prevent cross-session contamination and stop unauthorized tools in their tracks.
Section 5. The new autonomous economy. We've looked at the massive physical infrastructure, the flashy consumer tools, and the heavy security frameworks, and it all merges into one incredibly cohesive future. This revolution isn't happening in silos. Robinhood letting your AI buy stocks, Visa building protocols for machines to shop, the Japanese firm Saikana AI partnering on AI-driven defense intelligence, and data centers quietly buying up memory chips and liquid cooling. It is all the exact same agentic revolution. The physical rollout of the autonomous economy has officially begun. Which leaves us with one final, pretty massive thought to ponder. As this MCP standard becomes the universal USB-C for agentic AI, permanently connecting the digital mind to our physical world, are we truly ready to let algorithms just swipe the card, or are we building a financial and physical machine that we can't fully control? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.